You are listening to Off the Cuff. Now, here's your host, Adam Banks.
Welcome, everybody, to Off the Cuff. I am Adam Banks. Thank you for listening to the show. Coming at you live from Lexington, Kentucky, here in the Belmont studio. Amber is in the studio with me. It is our first podcast together of 2019. This is actually the first podcast of 2019, if you don't want to count the Communication Lecture Series episode. But this is back in action here in the studio. We was off for a couple of weeks on our Christmas hiatus, but now we're back full force, episode 244. Amber, we talked a little bit about our New Year's. You said that you had a good New Year's. I had a good New Year's. I went to the casino. I had a great time. The casino is a great place to go. It's packed. It's the busiest time of the year at the casino. There is no busier time than December 31st. It was packed.
I can see that.
Everybody
wants to win right as the new year comes.
Well, and plus, you got to think, what else are you going to do? You couldn't pay me $500 to go to New York and watch that stupid ball drop. I don't want to see that. Like,
I'll watch it from home.
Standing out in the cold. I'm not done with that. So, like, if I was going to do something fun, next year you're coming to the casino with me. Coming to the casino, it's a fun time. There's a hotel. You can just gamble.
We need to go back to California.
Play cards. I would love it. I thought about that on New Year's.
We spent New Year's 2008.
2007, 8.
Yeah, 2007 we landed in Los Angeles, and then 2008
we flew out of it.
That was fun. We probably shouldn't have been there. We were 19 in Universal Studios in California.
I think, and we had a great time.
What I
can't believe is our 19-year-old minds put together that trip. We survived it. We went to the Jimmy Kimmel Show.
And we dressed very nicely that night.
We did. We dressed very nicely. We own California.
That was a good time.
We own California. I think if we went back at our age now, it would be...
I would be too terrified to walk around at night like we did.
No, but it would be amazing.
It would be, but like 19-year-old me and 30-year-old me, we are two different people.
You know, I agree with that. And we walked into some shady places in California. Places we should not have been.
We were out at like 1 o'clock in the morning walking.
We
were out till 3 o'clock. Remember, we couldn't get a cab. And we were so mad at each other. We were mad. So Adam and I were not communicating at all. And
on New Year's Eve.
I don't know exactly why I was mad at him, but it was probably...
We was at Universal Studios.
We were at Universal Studios.
On New Year's Eve.
We had gotten... we went to the Ivy and eaten earlier in the day.
That was great.
That was great. If you don't know what the Ivy is, it was it's still a prominent, but it's a really
5-star restaurant.
Restaurant.
You have to dress up, and I wore the stupidest outfit. I look back on that, and I'm like, oh my God, I wore an Abercrombie and Fitch shirt.
You did. Over a white button-up.
Over a white button-up and black dress pants and black dress shoes. You look nice. You had on a red dress.
I did have on and black heels.
You look nice. And we sit next to these people at the Ivy, because the tables at the Ivy are very close together.
You're very, very, very close.
Yes, like about like we're sitting now.
It's kind of, they took a bench and put it alongside a wall, and then just put small end tables.
Yeah, that was basically it. So like you kind of had to talk at a whisper.
Very
yes,
whisper.
And you could still hear conversations, and like we were here. These people, I don't know if they were married. I don't know if they were on a first date, but they were asking a lot of questions about each other.
I think they lived together. No, they didn't live together. They were asking a lot of questions, so it was probably a first date.
Yeah, they were asking like, so do you work this? It sounded like very first date questions. So like he impressed her. You know, my dude took her to the Ivy and stuff, and she was lovely.
They were a beautiful couple.
Yeah.
I do remember that. They were a nice looking couple.
Yeah, I wonder who they were.
I don't know.
Out in the Ivy in L.A., Beverly Hills.
Well, but what made it even funnier is what did they do at the end?
What cracks me up is that we are from Topmost and Dema.
We are from Beaver.
From Beaver. And we were sitting there in that moment. We were in that moment. So
and we were 19, and we looked, Adam looked 12.
I did. I did. I looked so young. Do you remember walking on the stage of the Oscars, where they have the Oscars?
Well, I was so caught up in being still kind of mad at that point, because Banks and I were going up the stairs that everyone walks up when they get their Oscar. And I don't know, like, you know, everybody had cameras, like digital cameras back then.
And you wore them on your wrist. You wore that stupid camera on your wrist. You always did weird things. And one day, like, I was having you take all kinds of pictures. Like,
literally, there
all
is
over
an
the
entire,
city.
Like, I could make
Do you still have the album?
I still have all those. And, like, literally, Adam made me take so many pictures of him.
Yes.
And I don't know. For some reason, the camera swung in a weird way. I think it's honestly because he ran into me, which is something that he used to do a lot. And I think he kind of like nudged me, and my camera hit the railing.
Yeah, but no, how I remember it is like I was standing there, and I was trying to pose for a picture, and you just swung it because I think you were starting to get mad or frustrated at that time. And the camera just broke. You said, Adam, it ain't working. And all you probably had to do was turn it off and turn it back on.
No, I had done that. Thank you very much.
And we were in Kodak, and you went and bought batteries at the Kodak.
I don't know why I thought buying new batteries was going to solve, but
it did.
It did.
And it worked. And then we went and took a tour of the
Oscar stage.
Of the Oscar stage. We saw where Ellen DeGeneres had her dressing room.
Yep, had her dressing room. And
Jon Stewart was going to be the host next.
We sat in the chairs that
Jay-Z and
Beyonce had sat in.
Yeah, at the Oscars.
And I forgot who sat there that year, because I feel like we both watched it because we called each other.
It was It was the Dreamgirls cast. Eddie Murphy and all them.
No, that would have meant that Beyonce sat there again. Because Beyonce was in Dreamgirls.
Oh, for the next year's. Okay, for the next year. Who was it?
I don't remember who sat there.
I don't either.
I'll have to look into that.
I'll have to look into that and see who sat there.
Yeah.
I remember I remember that like it was yesterday. That was cool. I remember standing there, like thinking, like, "Wow, this is where they standing at the Oscars." Like all these people have stood here.
And what I still just can't grasp is, how did we navigate? And we were 19, and we were from Beaver, and the biggest place that I had ever been to by myself was Prestonsburg. Like, how did we navigate through?
I remember like standing on that stage and sitting there like thinking like, wow, like this is their view when they're giving Oscar speeches. Like that's pretty cool. It was cool. But what was amazing is we were that young doing all that. So imagine if we went back now.
Well, if we went back now, I do think a lot of things would be different. I think we would definitely eat at better places, avoid the Scientology building, and I would probably want to take more pictures in the location of Pretty Woman. That was something we didn't really do.
Yeah. I don't remember. Yeah.
But I wouldn't be able to be out like we were. I mean, literally, we were walking around the Walk of Fame at
there was people stopping and homeless people stopping and asking us like claiming to be on the Walk of Fame. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Interesting stuff. It is a brand new year, 2019, the last year of a decade. A lot of things has happened from 2010 to 2019. I graduated college, graduated grad school, moved to Lexington, started working, started teaching. A lot has happened in this decade, and this is the last year. I cannot believe that I'm about to be 31. I'll be 31 in 18 days.
Yeah.
January 20th, 2019, I will be 31 years old. It's starting to fly by. Somebody told me one time, when you blink, you will be 40, and it's starting to happen.
You know, it is, but like Adam and I were talking about this in the car. A friend of mine told me, yes, 30 years, always went by, and half your life potentially is over. But she said, look at all the stuff you've done in 30 years. And I was like, that's so true. She's like, no, just think you got another 30 to go. And I was like...
I like that. You do have another 30 to go. Yeah, and that's a long time.
That's like, she asked me to think back to when I was 10. She said, does that feel like it was yesterday? And I was like, absolutely not.
But in a way it does.
No, not really.
Gosh,
maybe 12 feels like 10 years ago. But
yeah, 10 was a long time.
Yeah, 10 was a long time ago.
Yeah, and we still got that to go.
Shoo.
That's a while. That really is.
It isn't. It's a long time.
Well, a lot has already been happening in 2019. A lot has been going on already.
A lot has been going on already.
And the biggest news that I saw was that in New York
City has passed a law, actually just New York, the state of New York passed a law that you can ratify your birth certificate. You can actually go back in and assign your own gender. So, male, female, but then I noticed there was another portion of that. You can also add X.
That's ridiculous. I mean, have we really gotten to a society where we have to not identify as a gender?
You know, you and I had this conversation earlier. Growing up, I had a transgender aunt. Her name was Poogie.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
You had a transgender aunt?
I told you about her.
So, whoa.
So,
Poogie was born a man?
No, Poogie was born a woman.
Okay.
And Poogie walked, talked, dressed, and used mannerisms in the way of a male.
Did she put a wallet in the back of her pocket?
She did. There was no chain
hilarious.
attached. There was no chain attached.
Thank God. Because there's those people out there. There is those people that put chains on their wallet. I never did understand that. I never did want to be that person.
I know, you've told me several times.
I did not want to be that person. I hated the chains on the wallet. Anyway.
Well, Aunt Poogie, she knew who she was. No one in the family judged her. Nobody said anything about it because nobody cared what Poogie had on.
Yeah.
Nobody cared how short Poogie's hair was. They just cared if Poogie was going to come over and hang out or not.
Yeah, so nobody ever asked her, hey,
No.
Poogie, are you seeing anybody? Because they just kind of knew.
No, they just knew. And, I feel like that's the grasp I like to think I have on not only homosexual relationships, but even some heterosexual relationships.
Yes.
You want to ask questions, but you just don't. So, I don't know. I just don't care. It's about the person. Like, hey, you going to come over and hang out? And if you come, I don't care if you wear makeup or not. Like, I don't care.
It's about the person. What you are born as is what needs to go on your birth certificate.
I do agree that it for all purposes of, if we eventually need to track back down, maybe we're doing genetic testing, maybe we, trying to do some mapping. I don't know, maybe the law, science, something needs to see what you originally were to either track or trace a pattern. So I do think if you want to put a side comment in, that's fine, but I don't think you should be able to change.
You don't need to be able to change. I mean, Elizabeth Warren has said she's going to run for the presidency of the United States against Donald Trump. I think that would be the most hilarious debacle ever happen.
I just don't know how I feel about that. So I'm gonna be intrigued to see what happens, going further.
Well, she's the senator of Massachusetts. Yeah, Senator Elizabeth Warren. She's a Democrat. She is very liberal, outspoken. It would be interesting to see her and Trump go head to head.
It's interesting to see Trump go head to head with anyone, but I think this could be interesting.
Yeah.
This could spice it up a little bit.
Yeah. Have you ever seen her? She's got an attitude.
Honestly, I thought she was that Ruth RGH or RGB from the Supreme Court. I cannot think of her name.
Yeah, no, she is very.
I thought that was her.
No, she is very. Yeah, you got to look her up. She's outspoken and got an attitude. Yeah, and so it would be interesting. But so does Trump. I wouldn't want to go head to head with Trump.
No.
I mean,
absolutely not.
He's ruthless. He's cutthroat.
And it's not always wrong either. Sometimes he actually just says what everybody else was thinking.
Absolutely. And people judge him for it. And I'm like, man, you were thinking the same thing.
You were thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah.
He just said it.
Well, Amber, I'm saddened to the news that Mean Gene Okerlund of the World Wrestling Entertainment has passed away. At the age of 74.
Gosh, but
he was the voice. He's the iconic voice of the WWE. I remember him in so many moments in wrestling. Like when he was in the biggest heel turn of all time. When Hulk Hogan turned heel, that's the biggest moment in wrestling.
See, I think about Mean Gene from when I used to watch WWF, but when I mostly think about him, he was in one of my favorite childhood movies.
Is it the one that Andre the Giant's in?
No. That's Princess Bride. No, it's called Repossessed, and it's the comic twist on The Exorcist. And it's actually got Linda Blair in it.
Linda Blair?
Linda Blair is actually in this movie, and she gets repossessed.
Do you like The Exorcist?
It scares me.
It does. It's a scary movie. It's a good movie.
But Mean Gene's in Repossessed, and I don't really understand why, but they're always like, look here, Mean Gene.
Yeah.
But he's in it, so that's where I think about Mean Gene from.
I love Mean Gene, but he was in so many wrestling moments. When you look back at iconic moments, Mean Gene's in a lot of them. He was an iconic announcer, an interviewer, and it's sad that a lot of these wrestlers in the industry, they don't live long. I mean, 70's a good age, but
yeah.
But I think he lived that long because he was out of the ring. A lot of the wrestlers die early.
Well, a lot of them, unfortunately, do have mental issues, so there is a lot of suicide.
Well, look what Chris Benoit did.
Yeah.
He killed his wife, kids, and then went out and mowed the grass.
Didn't he kill his dog, too?
I'm sure he did. I mean, he killed his kids. I'm sure he killed Maybe he was... Yeah, he killed them all.
Yeah, and then killed himself.
Then killed himself.
Yeah.
That
wasn't the first time that one of them had done something along those lines.
No. They all got problems. That's a dark industry. There's a lot of bad things going on in the wrestling industry, but I love the wrestling industry.
I was going to say, we love the wrestling industry.
Yeah, I love the wrestling industry. I was a big fan.
I know.
Yeah. All throughout school.
All throughout school.
Grade school.
You were the Snake Eyes.
I was Snake Eyes. That was my wrestling name.
Yeah.
I mean, I had it all, man. I had the championship, the WWF championship. I had it all. The Kentucky Wildcats are the Citrus Bowl champions of 2018.
Yes.
Did you get a chance to watch the game?
We did watch some of it. We did. And the little bit that I watched was when we were unfortunately kind of falling behind a little bit.
Benny Snell broke his record. There couldn't have been a more perfect way to get that record either. When he got the record, he got it on a touchdown. He got the most rushing yards in UK football history.
Shoo.
So now he's got it. And
isn't this our first season we've been able to say 10 wins in a
10
long
wins in like 40 years, something like that. It's insane.
Dang.
It's insane. So like, you got to hand it to Mark Stoops.
This year we did all right.
This year we did all right, yeah. I want to see what we do next year. I know we just want to bowl. I don't want to get off on it. Yes, I understand we just want to bowl. I'm not trying to be negative. I just want to see what Stoops can do next year. Because keep in mind, folks, he still has a losing record at Kentucky. He still has a losing record in the SEC. So we'll see how he does next year. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for listening to another episode of Off the Cuff. I'm Adam Banks. I want to thank Amber for being here. I will see you in the next episode.
I'm out here on the come up.